Welcome back guys to a brand new tutorial. Today we're gonna take a look at mid-frequency and how to create sculptures like this. This is my latest project and I'm really proud of it. I'm working on it right now and hopefully it will become a piece in my portfolio. So yeah, I'm just gonna show you guys a little bit of tips and tricks on how to create mid-frequency. Let's begin! So, as you can see here, this is a dinosaur. Yeah, actually Indominus Rex, and you can actually see how all these shapes here is not flat, if you understand what I mean. It's like it has a lot of shapes. It's If you just take a look here, you can see all the shapes like around the teeth and stuff like that. You can see all the shapes. There's a lot of hidden shapes, or hidden. They are like they're just supposed to help the overall sculpture. Like here, we have this shape right here. You might not think about it from like an angle like this, but here you can see the shape, and that shape, when you add lighting later on, it really helps to pronounce the overall volume and shapes of the creature or character you're creating. It really helps the realism. It's super important. And here in the jaw, I added all of this extra shape here, as you can see. All of the shape. These shapes here, it's like splits here and a lot of shapes. You probably get the idea. I just have a lot of shapes. And here on the anatomy, I added more shapes on top of it, so you can clearly see where the muscles are, and then some like lumps and bumps, so some like texture to it, so it looks more realistic. So yeah, let's take a look and show you guys how to do something like this, because at least when I started sculpting, I had a huge problem with taking something like this to this. So you can see a pretty clear difference. You can see here, doesn't have a lot of shape, has a ton of shape, right? And that's in the beginning very difficult. So I'm just gonna show you guys the process. So first thing I usually think about is first, what are like the bony landmarks, and then what shapes can I overpronounce and make clearer. Like right here, I know it's bony landmark, the sculpting goes like this, so I'm just gonna indicate it a little bit better. See, this is basically just taking the shapes that's there and overpronouncing them. See here, we have the shoulder. Just take this a little bit higher with topology. Here, we just have the shoulder, so I'm just indicating more shape. And refining the muscles, making sure that you see them a little bit better. And think about your sculpture without any like details. So if you take a look at this guy, you can see here there are some details like on the leg here with the wrinkles and stuff like that. Don't think about that. Just focus on the things that's not the basic shapes, but not the details, but the shapes in between. Those are the shapes that create realism. Like right here, you can see there are some shapes underneath here, but maybe let's overpronounce them a little bit. Let's add these shapes. Here, this is one very basic shape. Let's create some more shape. It's basically just adding more shape on top of the already basic shape. You can see here I'm just adding more and more shape. It really makes a difference adding this mid-frequency, because as I said before, realism. It will scream more realism if you add this stuff. And a lot of people, they miss this. They do not understand what it is, so they do not add them. And these shapes are so important. That's stuff like this. These like folds here, that's mid-frequency. Super basic. But they add a lot of shape, right? So I'm just gonna pronounce them a little bit better. Something like this maybe. As you can see, they just add a lot of shape. Now, I can't make this perfect because this is just for a YouTube video, right? So I ain't gonna take hours and hours to create all this detail, but as you can see, just adding that adds shape and breaks up the neck. It makes it more interesting to look at. The same here, if you're just gonna show the shoulder a little bit, you see I'm just indicating, then smoothing it out a little bit, but just so you can see the shapes. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Here, and then right here, we're just gonna indicate these muscles, and you see here, the muscle, where the muscle like connects to the bone, it's usually we're trying to over exaggerate or indicate it like this. As you can see, yeah, so I'm just indicating stuff like this. That's super important. So mid-frequency, in other words, is just adding more shapes to the already existing shapes. And that's something I'm usually doing a lot. I'm just adding more and more shapes until I have something that looks pretty sweet. So yeah, here we're just gonna add some shape real quickly, just adding the shape. And you should of course look at a ton of reference when you're doing this. I'm not looking at reference right now because, you know, I'm looking at some reference but not too much, because I need to show you guys how to do this real quickly. But if you aren't on a like deadline or like time limited, then take your time, look at the reference and really work. Like really work on it. This is art, you know? So you really need to just take your time. You're just over exaggerating calves right here. Here you can just, this is like mid-frequency, just adding more clear shape here. So you get a little bit more details, like from the side here, you can see here, if you show the difference. That versus that, you can see it, you just see the muscles there now. A little bit, does not look super beautiful, I know, but yeah, you probably get the idea, right? And the same goes for like the head here. Like on the skull or like head here, I'm usually just focusing on where are the bony landmarks. Like here, I know that it has this like line here on the skeleton, so then I'm really gonna take my time and try to indicate that. You can see as an extra shape, and then just going over like this. Super easy, yeah, but pretty easy when you understand what mid-frequency is. I'm still working a lot on it because I'm not super good at it yet, but hoping to become better in the future. And something like that. Just here, just adding more and more shape. That goes for like here. You just need to add shapes like all over. Just gonna show you something like, yeah, you can just see I'm just adding more shape, and it can be super obvious, like, yeah, maybe I should exaggerate this part a little bit. Then do that. Just exaggerate and really take your time and think. Otherwise, it's not gonna look very good. Something like this, and then here we're gonna have this part connect. I think you get the idea, guys, right? So that's basically how I do my mid-frequency, and then I continue and I go a little bit like deeper, just like here maybe, and then I continue to work on them, continue and continue and continue until I have something that look like this. And something that's super important with mid-frequency as well is contrast. Like here, we're just creating the contrast. So I'm using the standard brush just to create contrast here, to add where it's like deeper in the overall sculpture and stuff like that. That's super important for adding mid-frequency and for the basic shapes. Super important. But yeah, that's basically the techniques or how I think about how to add more shapes to it. That's my workflow. So I hope this video was like helpful in some way, shape or form. yeah, so otherwise, I'll see you next time.